All right. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully everyone is doing well. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with you all. If you guys can hear me, just let me know everything is coming through fine. You guys can see the video. Once we have confirmation of that, we'll dive right into things here today. While we're waiting on that, just to give you a little background, if you're new here, my name is Patrick France. Once again, I've been here at VectorVest for about 9+ years. Specifically focusing on our mobile application for the last 4 to 5 years or so. Instructing and helping people learn how to make money with it. Also helping get our viewers suggestions and opinions on what they would like to see into the mobile app. So that way it can be the most encompassing trading app available to you that will allow you to not only know when to get into the market, when to get out, but also what stocks to buy, when to sell them, and pretty much anything and everything you would need to know as an investor. So, awesome. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, can hear you and see you. Awesome. So that seems to be going well. With that, just to give you a little insight, especially if you're new, what we'd like to do, or the flow we typically like to cover is that, we'll start to take a look at what's going on in the market today, and then we'll move into our topic of discussion. So today is going to be very pertinent. I was thinking about it earlier yesterday when I came up with the topic, or earlier this week, and lo and behold, the markets are now down. We're seeing the markets, selling off a little bit here today. So felt like it's a very pertinent topic of discussion that we need to get out of the way. That way everybody's prepared. Everybody is familiar with what's going on and is aware of what's going on, and also how to utilize that going forward, how to make money in those kind of situations, and all in between. So, if you're fearful of the markets being down today, that's okay, understandable. You're in the right spot, and hopefully will help you get on the right track to make sure that you don't get caught off guard, just like we did previously in the earlier part of the year when we had that 30% correction in the market. We were giving our subscribers warnings. And just again here today, we want to make sure that everybody's prepared and everybody is protected throughout sell-offs in the market, because they do happen, and VectorVest has never failed to signal any major market turn, and we want to do so again. So that's why we're here today. So if you're looking for that kind of information, you're in the right spot. And then as always, we do finish off with the personal fan favorite, where we analyze any stock that you want to take a look at, show you how you can do so on the go in less than 20 seconds. So, awesome. Glad to have everybody here. Me too, Quincy. Also, as a side benefit of being here today, I did come up with a few names, some of them generated by you guys, some of them generated by me, on what the group name should be. So I will be setting up the poll going live. Actually, we'll just go ahead and get that started right now. You guys can vote in the poll. It will be open until the end of the session, or end of the live stream here today. So you guys go ahead, click on the poll, choose what you guys want. At the end of the session, we'll figure out the tallies and we'll announce the name of the group here. It's been a while. We've been doing these sessions for quite a while. And that the fact that we're just now coming up with this, I feel like I'm a little bit behind the curve, but rather late than never. So with that, let's go ahead, jump right into it. Glad to have everyone here once again. If you're new here, if you're a long-time subscriber, don't forget to hit that like button, click that share button as well, share it with your friends, share it with your family. All that helps me continue to grow the group and continue to get more insight to help the app become the best that it can possibly be. Let's see. Do you have advice placing an order, percent price in this bearish market? Any advice? Or percent price change. So I don't have an exact advice. Not sure exactly what you're looking for, but if you could, put a little bit more info in there, maybe I could help answer that question better. Stanley, if you're wondering about prices, if you click on the link in the description of the video, you can get a list of the prices. You can subscribe right from there as well. Or as always, you can give our support a call. They'd be glad to help you out. Our support is top notch and the most helpful support team I've ever seen out of anywhere I've ever worked with or dealt with. Our support team really is the gold standard of support, if you will. Ashim, we can definitely take a look at that. Been a while. Doug, glad to have you here. Welcome. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We've got a lot going on. Don't forget to fill out your voice or fill out your opinion in the poll there. Make sure to answer that so that way we can get an answer by the end of the day. All right. So getting into it right now, we can see the market is neutral. We're 3 ticks into the yellow. Therefore, VectorVest advocates caution when buying stocks at this time. So what does caution mean? Caution means we should take a deeper look at what's going on. You know, if the markets are moving higher, we may see an opportunity to buy. But if the markets are moving lower, most likely we're going to simply hold off from buying for the day. So let's dig a little deeper here. If we scroll down, we get the color guard. As we can see, our first red light in the price column in quite some time, followed by 2 yellow lights in the RT and the BSR. For anybody new or not already a subscriber, the RT is the short-term price trend of the overall market. It's cast on a scale of 0 to 2. Above 1, short-term trend is up. Below 1, short-term trend is down. As we can see, it is still up since it's above 1. But if you look at what it was a week ago till now, we can definitely see that it's moving lower currently. The BSR is the buy to sell ratio. So every single day here at VectorVest, we give a buy, sell, or hold rating on each stock. These aren't just some analyst opinions or some guys in the back that we have, saying they like one stock, they don't like another stock. These are based upon rules on how we create that buy, sell, and hold rating on a stock. So we use that buy to sell ratio to analyze the overall health of the market. When there's more stocks with a buy than a sell, that would mean the buy to sell ratio is above 1, and more stocks are participating in the market than not participating, or that there's overall strength in the market. Below 1, just the opposite. It's going to show that there's more weakness in the market because there's more stocks not participating than participating. So yes, it is above 1, showing that there are more buys and sells, or that there's overall market strength currently. But once again, if you look at what it was a week ago till now, we can see that strength is deteriorating, giving us some signs of caution currently. If we look at the MTI, it's a combination of the price, the RT, and the BSR all wrapped into one indicator. So it's looking at the underlying trend of the market. Once again, it's cast on a scale of 0 to 2. Above 1, underlying trend is up. Below 1, underlying trend is down. We can see it's above 1, so therefore the underlying trend of the market is still up, but just like our other key indicators, it has been weakening over the last week. Then we get the trend column, which shows 2 parts of the trend each and every day. The first part is referred to the primary wave, which shows the short-term or simply weekly trend of the market. As we can see, it did turn down as of right now, since the price is lower than it was 5 trading days earlier. The second part is just looking at the underlying trend, or referring back to that MTI. Since the MTI is above 1, the underlying trend, or that second part of the trend column, will remain in the up position. And then finally, we get the calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls. Here at VectorVest, we cover multiple different styles of investing, all the way from day traders to long-term buy and holders. The confirmed calls are more of your conservative timing system, and our last signal to get into the market and our last signal to get out. Therefore, you never want to ignore a confirmed call change. As we can see though, it still remains in the up position since we still have the markets moving higher overall, and until that really changes, we'll remain in that up situation. But that's why we stick around every single day or every single Thursday to come to these sessions, or if you're already a subscriber watching the market guidance videos, to know when when that call actually changes, to keep you ahead of the game and protected from any major market turnarounds. So one thing we like to do every single week is take a look at the advanced declines. Now, the advanced declines is looking at the number of stocks moving higher for the day and the number of stocks moving lower for the day. So we use this especially when we see that neutral signal at the gauge at the top, and it says, we advocate caution when buying stocks at this time. We advocate caution, look at the advanced declines and look for a 2-to-1 bias. If the markets are moving higher, we want to see the advances twice as high as the decliners. If the market's moving lower, we want to see the decliners twice as high as the advancers. So yeah, we're seeing caution. We don't have twice as many advances and declines, actually the complete opposite. So therefore, we simply would be holding off from buying any stocks today. If anything, if you wanted to take a bearish position for the day, you could do so, but just know you are increasing your risk by doing that, because that is more of a riskier mindset or a riskier trading style, if you will. Let's see. I see a lot of people chiming in there. I'm on Apple mobile device. Awesome. The poll should pop up in the video. Thank you for that. Like TAOP is rising now. Do you advise making the purchase a search by percent price change? So what we just covered there would answer that question. Right now, we advocate caution when buying stocks at this time. We look at the advanced declines. We don't have a 2-to-1 advanced declines bias, so therefore we would hold off from buying any long positions or long stocks, I guess is a better way to describe it today. David, I love that feedback. I completely agree with that. I've been trying to work with them to get the DEW in the mobile app. So I did cover away a few weeks ago of how you can get the DEW look on the market timing graph. But getting it as an easy to find feature is what I'm working with our development team on, trying to get that in there. There's been a lot of projects we have working to make the mobile app even better than what it currently is. And I'm hoping to get that on the docket so that way that can get in here. All right. Don't see the poll yet. Should be right in the middle of the video there for you guys. Conrad is asking, should a person be taking profits on stocks I own? The best way to answer that is, right now, it depends on your investment style, to be completely honest. If you're short term, you should have a goal set in place on where your stops are going to be. And if anything, whenever that MTI got to the level of 1.6 or greater, that's the time you don't necessarily need to close out because you could miss out on some gains, but at least tighten your stops up to make sure that if things start turning around, you lock your profit in. The market's moving down here today. Doesn't mean it's going to just dive right from here, but you do have some shocks in the market from news coming out today. And the best advice is, don't be knee-jerk reactive to market moves. The best thing to do is if you are nervous about it, tighten up your stops, or if you're really unsure about it or really not comfortable with it, you can never go broke taking your profits off the table. You can always get back into your stocks at a later point, but at least you're not influenced by the downturn at all. Granted, if the market turns back around, you're going to miss out on some of that run too. So, there's positives and negatives with both mindsets or both ideas. It depends on what's more comfortable for you. All right, so let's go ahead, jump right into it, get right into today's topic. So as we can see right now, all the major indices are down, with the Dow being down 1.6%, NASDAQ down 0.2%, S&P down 1.2%. Overall, the VectorVest composite, which we feel gives us a better look on what's actually happening in the market, down about 1.1% so far for the day. Now, keep this in mind, when I was coming up with today's discussion, I didn't have a magic ball telling me today the markets were going to be down. The markets were up the last few days. Everything was looking great. But I still felt that this was a pertinent topic for what's going on. And I'll explain to you why. So let's start taking a look at the major indices, the things that most people are most comfortable with. Start taking a look at the Dow just by tapping on it. Let's go ahead and get that pulled up. Oh. There we go. I think my phone's freezing a little bit. My screen. All right. Give me 1 second here. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. There we go. Sometimes it's good to refresh your phones every now and then. Yeah, Steve, I will definitely add that onto our list as well. But I hope you're enjoying that new Android update as well for you. All right, so let's take a look. We're on a 1 day. Let's go to a 3 month. So what we have is the price shown in candlesticks of the major index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then below there, we have the DPO, which is the detrended price oscillator. If you're not familiar with the DPO is more of a momentum indicator. And it's, 0 is essentially flat, or the stock is sideways. Above 0 shows an uptrend. Below 0 shows a downtrend. The higher above 0, the stronger the uptrend. The lower below 0, the stronger the downtrend. Just wanted to give that quick, refresher on how we read DPO to make sure everybody's on the same page here today. So as we can see, right now the Dow peaked back here at the beginning of June. We are now at a lower high. DPO being a momentum indicator is also confirming that. We saw the high on the DPO in the last 3 months at the same time the peak was back at the beginning of June. And now confirming that lower high by having a lower high with the DPO that same time frame. So confirmation of momentum waning here with the Dow. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, one of the hottest industries or hottest indices that we've seen over the recovery of this market. And as we can see, NASDAQ just been rocking and rolling. Can't really complain. NASDAQ's just done nothing but go higher. But what has the DPO been doing? Well, the DPO actually peaked even well before that, back around the beginning of May. And since that point, as the NASDAQ has been hitting higher highs, the DPO has been hitting lower highs. This is showing that momentum is waning from the NASDAQ, and especially with so many people buying into it, so many people, having tech-heavy stocks right now or tech-heavy holdings. This is definitely something to keep in mind because, all boats rise with the tide and all boats can fall with the tide as well. So when you see this, you see the Dow or the DPO steadily falling. That is a worrisome sign that tells us we may need to be careful, maybe not necessarily a knee-jerk reaction and close everything out, because we could see this turn around and this could, the bearish divergence can be voided out, and especially using trend lines, connecting the highs from the DPO. And if the DPO goes back above that, that would show that bearish divergence is voided out. And so therefore it's not, something you need to be aware of or cautious with anymore. But for the time being, we don't have that. That lower high pattern as prices hitting higher highs is still very true to this day and giving us a warning sign that we want to be careful. Let's see. Yeah, so I see some people having some issues seeing the poll on mobile devices. That's fine. What I'll do is I will also send out a poll for the rest of the day. That'll be open for the remainder of the day. So after today's session, go to our Facebook page and fill out select your option on that. And then by the end of the day, we'll have a final name and we'll announce it at the beginning of the session next week. So sorry if you guys are having issues with the poll. Don't know why. Never had those issues before, but we'll make sure we put out a poll after today's session. I'll get on, put that out there for you guys. Just go ahead, put it or fill out which one you guys want, and we'll announce the winner and the official name next session or next week, next Thursday. All right, so NASDAQ, once again, getting back into it. So Barry, the DPO, detrended price oscillator, that's right. What it shows is it's a momentum indicator. So it's, zero line is flat or the stock is completely sideways. Above zero shows an uptrend. Higher above zero, the stronger the uptrend. Below zero, the closer to, the further away from zero it is, the stronger the downtrend. Derek is asking, where is the DPO on Android? So it's the same as iOS now. Everything is going to be the exact same. You'd go to the graph settings at the bottom. You can choose the lower graph indicator. You can choose any one of these indicators right here. And as you can see, I have DPO selected. So that's how you would get that, just in case anybody else was wondering that. There's a purple button for the poll. Awesome. Thank you for that. All right. Let's see. What do you think of the best indicators for buying in and exiting? Buying in, market timing, Edwin. Exiting, stop criteria. Nothing better than those two. How do you read if a stock is better short-term versus long-term? Xavier, RS. RS is going to be the key depending on if you're going to be a long-term investor or short-term investor. We've done lots of videos or lots of streams on RS. I would definitely recommend to go back and check some of those out. But RS is going to be your key for long-term holdings. You're welcome there, Edwin. Awesome. So, as we can see, NASDAQ showing signs of weakness. It's been the strongest performer throughout this whole uptrend in the market, but all good things come to an end. You have to have sell-offs or pullbacks in the market to create buying opportunities to get new investors in and get people, back into stocks to make them move higher again. So NASDAQ showing some weakness. Let's take a look at the S&P. Same situation. As you can see, price went from the 8th of June at the high at that point to a new high on the 22nd of July. Let's take a look at what the DPO is doing though. DPO peaked on the 8th of June and hit a lower high, even though price hit a higher high on the 22nd of July. This once again confirms exactly what we're seeing here, is that there is weakness showing in the market right now. We could pull up VectorVest 7, take a look at the MTI, take a look at the buy to sell ratio. All those would be showing very similar situations that we've been talking about in that nightly video we do for the weekly or the daily color guard. We've been talking about these kind of things, preparing our subscribers to, rather be prepared and not use it than not prepared and have to use something to help make money in a down market in case this comes true. But once again, it's not saying that, because we're seeing this, that the market's going to come tumbling down tomorrow. What this is simply saying is that there's less and less upside potential. Momentum is waning. Be careful, be prepared. And, if you see a break or a breakdown or a breakout out of that downtrend in the DPO, then obviously everything's good. Keep buying stocks. Great. Making money. But if you're not, if we don't see that breakout, we see the market continue to break down to the downside, we're prepared. We know, and what we're going to talk about next is how to make money if that does happen. Just like we did, back at the beginning of the year, we want to make sure all the new people that are here can take advantage of it and know exactly how to make money in these kind of situations as well. All right, so we know the market's getting weaker. We see signs of that. What do we do right now? What do we do going forward? How do we prepare ourselves? Well, even in a downturn, there's going to be up days. And there could still be up days in, the next coming week, 2 weeks, however many days. There could be some opportunities to take advantage if you're very short-term minded. Let's say, very short-term swing trader, momentum trader, day trader, those kind of people. You're still going to have some of those days that you can buy stocks long and make money for those days, maybe 2 days or so. And VectorVest can help you find those stocks. If you want to look for those kind of stocks, go to the pick section at the bottom. High momentum stocks, great place to start. These are going to be riskier. These are going to come with, more volatility. But even on a down day like today, the number one stock is up over 2%. Granted, it is a higher price tag. It's a great fundamentally sound company. Really strong uptrend. Take a look at the graph real quick. We see that bearish divergence even forming in a stock like this. So that tells us on a longer term basis, right now is not the best time to be getting in. But for a short term momentum trader, there still could be some opportunity to take advantage of it, make a quick buck or two, help grow those small wins, help grow the portfolio a little bit until we get the major change here in the market trend. So QDL could be an opportunity. PRPL, which was brought up by you guys actually a few days ago. This is more of an aggressive stock since it has an RV above 1 but an RS below 1. Really strong uptrend. Peek at the graph real quick. Even with what the market's doing here today, you've had a great run. It gapped down, went all the way back up to its high of almost 23.75 or so, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But you've had over $1 or so move today alone to make some money as a day trader. Side note, yes, Kay, this will be recorded. All of our sessions here that we've ever done on Facebook Live are recorded in the live session or live section of our Facebook page. So just go to facebook.com, search for VectorVest. Once you're on our page, you can see the live section there. You can watch today's recording after we finish and any recording we've ever done. So I definitely recommend to go check that out. Also, if you're a beginner, there is a training course built into the app. Give our support a call. They can help you get to it. It's really easy, but it's great for new people getting into the market. All right. So PRPL could have a good opportunity. Looking at it, huge swing to the downside, huge swing back up, back to its previous high. Definitely some great opportunities to make money with this as a day trader here. Tom saying QDEL earnings after close. There you go. So that's why we're seeing some momentum push here. Could be an earnings play. If you're a risk taker, you got a 50-50 chance. Either it's going to go up or it's going to go down after an earnings announcement. How do you get to the various indicators? Mura, which indicators are you referring to? Where can I check for this daily stock? So these are all under the pick section. Everything you see here today is on the premium mobile version. So if you're not on the premium version, just simply click on the link in the description of the video or give our supporter call. They can help you out there as well. Section that says timing. What timing are you referring to? The section that says timing. So the very top, the stock pick ideas, you see the color guard gauge. That is based off of what we saw on the home page when we first signed into the app that we talked about originally. Other than DPO, all right, so we can take a look at that in a second. So as you can see, hot stocks are going to be your short-term trades. Great for making some quick profits on up days, for finding some good ideas, and stocks that you're not going to be sitting and holding on to for a while to try to get some money out of them or get some gains out of them. But down here we have the premium stock pick ideas, and this is where we're going to start preparing ourselves for if these bearish divergences start to come true, just like they did back in January and February this year. So let's go ahead and take a look at the premium list. As you can see, you have the coronavirus stocks, which if we go through a second, wave, if you will, those could have a nice pop. But then below there, getting into the indexed ETFs, we have both the bullish and bearish pair. Bearish are where you're going to want to start off with. Now, a lot of these are going to be, single, double, or triple leveraged on the indexes or indices. So the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Russell. If you're not familiar with what each one is looking at, simply tap on it. For example, dog. And then go ahead and tap on the three dots in the upper right. And you can go to view the report. The report will give you under the business description a quick reference of what the ETF is. If you don't see anything referencing 200% or twice the performance of is typically the verbiage that we would use, then that means they're at a 1-to-1 or non-leverage. So if you're not familiar with ETFs and leveraged ETFs, let's take the Dow for example. If the Dow goes down 1%, dog will go up 1%. If it's leveraged, let's say by 2-to-1 leverage, the Dow goes down 1%. A double leverage contra ETF will go up by 2%. I've done a lot of videos on contra ETFs and leverage ETFs. So if you want more info on that, make sure to go check out those videos and our recorded sessions there. All right. So SH, let's take a look. Once again, view the report. Corresponds to the inverse opposite of the daily performance of the S&P 500. So no leverage mentioned, 1-to-1. Dow's down about 0.9%. This is up about 0.9%. Let's take a look. We got DXD. You can see ultra short. Anytime you see that UL in the name of it, usually means there's leverage to it as well. It's another great indicator on that there's leverage. So UL short 30, obviously Dow 30. Take a look, view the report. You can see 2 times the inverse minus 2 times of the daily performance of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So this has 2-to-1 leverage compared to the Dow index by itself. And you can do this on any one of them here. Now, if you're somebody who is heavy in tech stocks, don't try to go trade, and you follow a lot of tech stocks, and that's your main focus. You like tech, all of that. Don't go trade the Dow as your contra ETF that you're going to focus on. Focus on something that is primarily focused on the NASDAQ. So anything that has Qs in it, SQQQ, QID, and so forth. If you're somebody who is more retirement minded, let's say you're more utilities guy or utilities woman, whatever, look at something that is focused on a Dow. If you're somebody who's diversified in all the stocks from the S&P, stocks in the NASDAQ, stocks in the Dow, then really focus on which one you're most comfortable with. But that's the advice I always give to people when getting into ETFs. If you're not familiar with something, don't trade an index ETF on something you're not familiar with. Simple as that. So that's the premium watch list. We go back to the picks. Take a look at the featured screens now. Featured screens is going to be for your more aggressive mindset. You're going to find some ETFs that you can take advantage of, but you're also going to be able to find stocks that you can short. For anybody not familiar with shorting is, essentially borrowing shares from your broker to sell to somebody else at a high price, hoping they go down, and then buying them back at the lower price where you get to keep that difference. They say it has infinite amount of risk because a stock can go up to infinity and beyond. And whereas if a stock goes down, it has a limited risk by 0. But as long as you're using money management, you can be very successful with it. And money management rules can limit your risk to take away that infinite risk that they say is there out of the picture there for you. So first list you can take a look at is worst stocks above $20. These are going to be stocks that have horrible fundamentals. And that's really going to be the main focus of worst stocks above 20. So you see a lot of pharmaceutical companies. That's because a lot of pharmaceutical companies are very speculative. They don't have a consistent stream. They're all trying to, hit that home run to become more financially sound. So, of course, you're going to see a lot of those in here. If you're looking for stocks that just hit that sell rating, new stocks or new sell rated stocks, you're going to find some more fundamentally sound companies that have just been beaten up or really getting hit hard based off of, what the main driver is for the current downturn in the market. So all of these are going to be great opportunities, especially if you're looking for short-term or short trades that you can place. MMO, let's go take a look. Nice consistent downtrend. You have good long-term potential, but the RS is below 1, telling us that it is a riskier stock compared to the average stock out there. And the RT is below 1, telling us that it is in a downtrend. That doesn't surprise me. AMD has had great fundamentals there, Mark. So somebody is shorting AMD. I feel really bad for him and tell them they need to check out VectorVest before they start making other shorts there. Let's see. I believe today is a dangerous day to trade, and the big tech earnings reports tonight can have a big effect down by open tomorrow. Yeah, and that's why I'm talking about it here today, Barry. I'm not saying that, because of these bearish divergences, the markets are going to just start tanking immediately. But at the same time, we do see that short-term trend potentially turning into a medium-term trend starting to develop, showing signs of weakness that we could be seeing a reversal coming up. So that's why we're covering, what to do in the future when that actually shows confirmation of those divergences that we're starting to see. But that's why we also talked about, on the up days, let's say the markets move up higher tomorrow based off of, some big earnings announcements coming out. That's why we wanted to show some of those high momentum stocks that you can trade intraday or very short term to take advantage of those momentum plays. But at the same time, the longer term, or the not longer term, but medium term trends we're starting to see some weakness on and could be reversing. Awesome. Yeah. So I wanted to address that because, hopefully that will, if newer folks didn't see that, that would bring their eyes to that comment and then hopefully get some insight on what we were talking about. So I appreciate, all the insight and all the chat back and forth. It definitely helps out everyone, I feel like. So if you're asking about certain stocks, give us just a couple more seconds. We'll get to that in a few moments, and we'll analyze the stocks that you want to take a look at and go over that there for you. Let's see. How do you know when to sell? Manzi, the best way to know when to sell is, well, actually, I'll go back. I've done lots of videos on knowing when to sell. I definitely recommend to go check those out. But the one thing I will say to answer that question is before you ever get into any stock, any trade whatsoever, you should always know when you're going to get out of it before you ever get into it. That's the one thing I'll say on that. Go back and check out some of those videos on knowing when to sell if you want more info than that. All right. So with that, we have some great short trade opportunities here under new sell rated stocks. But then finally, the last one I'm going to talk about here today is something that was actually created by our group here on Facebook, and that's the ETF pairs bullish and bearish. These were stocks that were suggested by you guys. Some of that were suggested by us, but they were developed from our Facebook sessions. And these are going to be more broad term. They're not just going to be the major indices, but they're going to be based off commodities, high focus areas in the market. So as you can see, natural gas, oil, China, gold, biotechs, major indices, gold miners, large caps, financials, silver, semiconductors, all kinds of the major hot topics in the market. And that's where, you're going to find if these major indices or these major areas in the market or industries in the market start to fade or start to get hit, you can find ETFs to play that broad market move. These are going to typically be more triple leverage ETFs, so they're going to be for your more aggressive style of investing, but it's a great resource to go to. Find ones that look good for you, find ones you're most comfortable with, keep them in a watch list. That way, once things start to deteriorate, you have them ready to go. You can place your trades and capture the majority of that move. So that's going to be the last thing we're going to be talking about here on today's topic. With that in mind, let's go ahead, get into the fan favorite and show you how to analyze your own stocks in less than 20 seconds using the mobile app. Also, if you've enjoyed today's session, if you've learned something new on today's session, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that share button. All that helps me out. And also make sure to like the VectorVest Facebook page so you stay up to date with any changes that we have coming to our Facebook sessions or any new Facebook sessions or spur of the moment Facebook sessions that you want to take advantage of. You'll get notified through there as well. Let's see, talking about the videos in the university. No. YouTube video by Russell a few days ago. Dividend stocks. Awesome. What's a reasonable profit margin for Midas touch stocks? Honestly, nobody's going to be able to answer that other than you. You have to ask yourself, what kind of a return are you looking to get on an investment? That's the only way you're going to actually be able to come up with a target. You have to be honest with yourself, set your target there that way. All right, so let's get into analyzing everybody's stocks. Joseph, I will do HMY second. I did have one. Who was it by? Nagandi, LCTX, and then we'll get to that one. So LCTX, and we'll take our time a little bit with LCTX and move on to others. So LCTX, we first start to take a look at the 4 key indicators here. 2 of them are going to be fundamentally based. 1 of them is going to be technical based. So the RV, RS are the fundamental indicators. The RV is looking at the long-term potential of the stock over the next 1 to 3 years compared to AAA corporate bonds. So below 1 tells us that we expect to see the stock underperform AAA corporate bonds over the next 1 to 3 years. RS is looking at the consistency and predictability of their financial performance. Is the company making money? Is the company growing their earnings quarter over quarter, year over year? Have they been able to do that for 5, 10, 15, 20 years consistently? If it's below 1, that tells us that they haven't been able to do that. So therefore, that tells us that there is more risk based on their fundamentals right now compared to the average stock out there. Then we look at the RT, the short-term price trend. Below 1 tells us it's in a downtrend. Really below 1 tells us it's in a stronger downtrend. So all of these indicators cast on scales of 0 to 2, all of them are below 1, telling us all of these indicators are unfavorable. Therefore, the overall VST value, the bottom right corner, is below 1 as well. The stock is unfavorable. Therefore, going to simply hold off on this one for right now. Taking a look at the graph, that's a 1 day. Let's go 3 month. Let's go 6 month. Price, if you just connected the first candle on the left to this last candle on the right, it's a downtrend. 1 year, downtrend. 5 year, downtrend. Nothing about this looks that great right now, or even over the last 5 years. At the top, you see the yellow and red bar. That's the ratings bar. A red would be a sell, yellow is hold, green is buy. As you can see, it's pretty much made up of all red and yellow for the last 6 months, the last year, 5 years. There's a little glimmer of hope for green, but very briefly, and then everything else has been red and yellow the whole time. All right, So let's see, HMY. HMY, great long-term potential. A little bit more risk associated with it, though. You have a really strong uptrend on a short-term basis. Therefore, the stock is still favorable. Yeah, it's down 6% right now today, but let's look at 3 months. What has it done? It's gone from $3.20 and doubled that in less than a month to a high of $7.61. So you've made well over triple-digit profits from the bottom to now. And yeah, 6% is going to be nothing when compared to the bigger move that it's made. Yeah, it's something to be worried about. You definitely see this. You may want to start tightening up your stops. But after such a big explosive move, you are going to see some pullbacks. And people are going to protect their profits. HMY still has great long-term potential. It's still in one of the hottest industries of the year so far. It's had a huge run already. Going to see some pullbacks to create that better buying opportunity for others to want to jump back on board and move that price higher. So, right now, yeah, it's down 6%. Maybe start tightening up your stops if you're worried about it. Or if you already have a great gain, take your profit. Wait for the bottom or wait for, a reversal to show and then maybe get back in later. But at least you've locked in your gain at that point. All right, let's see. BGS. BGS, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, so it tells us this is a speculative stock. Therefore, but looking at the timing, it does have some short-term momentum to the upside, but if you're a speculative stock, you want to see the RT at least above 1.4. That's our general rule of thumb that we've come up with here through our Facebook sessions. Anything below 1.4 with that amount of risk may not be worth it. Obviously it's going to differ. Everybody's different. You may want to, you may be more acceptable to that risk. Some people may not. But just as a good general rule of thumb, if you are getting into a speculative trade, you want to see that RT above 1.4. But, because of that short-term momentum as a speculative trader, the overall VST is above 1. So the stock is favorable right now, but just be very careful with it. That's all. That's the best way to put it. AIR, about average long-term potential, has a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a strong downtrend. Therefore, the stock is not favorable. LAD, a little bit less than average long-term potential. Pretty solid, consistent fundamentals though, so less risk associated with it. Really nice, strong uptrend on a short-term basis. Pulling back a little bit with the overall market here today, but still strong short-term momentum. Overall, the stock is favorable. Let's see, CRM, about average, a little less than average long-term potential. Solid fundamentals, so this is more of a consistent stock. You're not looking to outperform the market, but you are looking for consistency, strong fundamentals, good earnings, and that's what this analysis is telling us. Looking at the timing still above 1, so it's still in an uptrend, not a very strong uptrend, but still in an uptrend nonetheless. Telling you may be paying attention to this a little bit closer here over the next coming days. Overall, the stock is favorable because it has a strong RS score, but depending on your goals with this, you may be wanting to pay attention to it a little closer for the time being. Let's see, PSA. And also, if you're enjoying today's session, if you're just jumping in, just tuning in, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. Let's continue to grow this. If you haven't already put your pick in for the poll, make sure to answer the poll. If you've had issues with the poll, we'll put it as well into a post after today's live stream. So if you're having issues, didn't get your vote in, you can get your vote in a little bit through that way as well. All right, so PSA, poor long-term potential, a little bit better than average safety involved in the stock. It's basically flat right now, so therefore the stock is not favorable. WDC, Western Digital, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a steady decline, therefore the stock is not favorable. Apps, APPS, great long-term potential. About average risk associated with it. Really strong short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable. Ooh, make sure, there we go. Let's see what's next. AMT on this pullback. AMT, let's go take a look. AMT, poor long-term potential. Decent fundamentals though, so more of a conservative play. Timing is essentially flat. Overall, the stock is favorable, but not by much. It's down 5% here today, 3 months. Let's go. Look, bearish divergence. Look what we see with this one. Price has been moving sideways. DPO has been moving lower, showing less and less momentum behind the stock currently. If we go 6 months, decent recovery, but still pretty flat overall. Let's see, 1 year, steady uptrend, not bad. For more of a conservative stock, definitely looks good. But at the same time, with that short-term bearish divergence that's showing itself, we may want to hold off. Today may not be, the only down day. May be able to get a better price if you're looking for a pullback. So maybe after the pullback has occurred, yeah, could be a great opportunity for, more of a conservative play there. All right, let's see. What's the next one? SHLL. About average long-term potential, does have a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a steady decline. Therefore, the stock is not favorable right now. MRNA. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, telling us this stock is a speculative stock. Think about mRNA. All these biotechs, everybody is speculating on which stock or which company is going to hit that vaccine or hit that golden ticket, if you will. So yeah, this is a speculative play. Based on their current financial data out there though, the analysis is holding up well. Timing is at 1.2, so even on a short-term basis, it's down today. It's still in a short-term uptrend, but definitely take a look and see if that momentum is waning. Overall, that momentum is not strong enough to make the stock favorable right now. NXST. There we go. NXST. Great long-term potential, less risk associated with it. It's in a slight uptrend, so overall the stock's favorable. And as I'm going through these, especially if you're new or not already a subscriber, don't forget to always, market timing trumps any individual rating on a stock. Keep that in mind as we go through some of these. Even if the stock is favorable, it does not mean you should just ignore it and everything's going to be hunky-dory. It means that even the best stocks, you should still be cautious with them and still keep an eye on them and check your stop criteria on them from time to time as well. All right, let's see the next one. TMUS. US. Poor long-term potential. Decent fundamentals. Slight uptrend. Not enough, though, to offset it to make the stock favorable at the time. Let's see. LPTH. Poor long-term potential. A lot of risk associated with it, so it's a speculative stock. But you do have some really strong momentum behind it. Therefore, the stock is favorable. As a speculative trader, just be careful. Same thing we've seen with what today's topic was. Bearish divergence over the last, 3 months? Yeah, over the last 3 months, price is hitting higher highs. DPO has been hitting lower highs, not confirming that upward price action. Just be careful with that. Let's see. RFP. And we'll do a couple more after this one. Then we'll start to wrap things up for the day. Whew, up 27% today. Man, oh man. Day trader's dream right here, folks. Looking at the analysis, so poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Really strong uptrend, being up 27%. No surprise there. Overall, the stock is favorable for a speculative trader, maybe a day trader. If you're a long-term holder, this is not a good opportunity right here. All right, we'll do 2 more from here. So LUV will get a airline stock. Poor long-term potential. Better than average risk or safety associated with it, though. still is in a steady decline, so therefore stock is not favorable. And last one, let's see, INTC. Intel, great long-term potential, consistent, solid fundamentals. Unfortunately, it is in a decline right now, so therefore stock is favorable, but timing is not there. Wait for a better buying opportunity or wait for a better time to get into the stock. So on that, let's go take a look. Right now, we're still 3 ticks into the yellow. Therefore, the market is neutral. We still advocate caution when buying stocks at this time. We can see that red light has started to dissipate. We now have a primary wave up, so that primary wave down is turned to up. We do see the market slightly recovering here. Looking at the advances, we're now at 23%, way better than where we were at the beginning of today's session. The major indices, the Dow is now only down 1.1%. NASDAQ almost getting close to that green territory here today. S&P recovering a little bit, now only down 0.8%. VectorVest Composite gaining about 0.4% back so far, only down 0.7% as well. So with that, the major indices are still lower. There's still way more, or well over 2-to-1 declines to advances bias here today. So even with this slight recovery that we've seen, be careful. Follow the trend. Let the trend be your friend. Keep an eye on what we've talked about here today, especially with the bearish divergences. I urge you to take a look at your own stocks and see if you notice any type of divergences with those as well. Once again, if you haven't already answered the poll or if you're having issues putting your vote in for the poll here today, I will be posting a poll on our Facebook page, so make sure to stick around. Go check that out. Go get your vote in there as well. And with that, on that note, take care. I hope everyone has a great day. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And make sure to tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern next Thursday as we kick off another session. Take care, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Yeah.